Hi everyone, I'm Kim Rawlings, the Customer Impact Manager for Spinifex IT. And today I'm happy to present our latest webinar, Cloning and Scrambling Made Easy. I'm also going to be joined by one of the Australian consultants for Spinifex IT, Randy Dafu. So Randy's the resident subject matter expert on the solution we're going to be looking at today. So he's going to join us a little later. Today's agenda is I'm going to actually give you a little bit of an education on Easy Clone, the solution that we're going to be taking you through in today's webinar. We'll look at those business cases that Easy Clone solves, delve into the latest enhancements, and then Randy's going to take you directly into the solution and show you what some of those enhancements look like. So let's meet Easy Clone. Easy Clone is a Spinifex IT solution around copying current and historical data, including anonymizing those sensitive personnel fields from your SAP, HCM, and SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central systems in seconds or minutes. With Easy Clone, your payroll and your support teams can expedite their payroll testing and troubleshooting activities using fresh, synchronized data, while ensuring the organization's data and those personnel fields are scrambled to ensure privacy remains. Wherever you are in your SAP journey, we have you covered. So those clients that are still on SAP HCM, or maybe moving to S/4HANA or SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central payroll, you can still use the solution across both. It still has the data anonymization. You can still clone your employees from production back to test, and you can do that in a really quick period of time. And for those clients that have actually implemented SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central and have Employee Central payroll, it's important to note that this solution also covers you there. So if you think about, you've got your master data that resides in Employee Central, and you have your payroll results that resides down in Employee Central payroll, or even your SAP HCM if you're in a hybrid situation, it's important to note that Easy Clone can clone and scramble the master data or the personnel data and the payroll data. So cloning the employee in its entirety. It also copies and masks those employee objects and those custom metadata framework objects, and you can activate this at any time. So let's have a little look further on how simple it is to use Easy Clone. In fact, it's our simplest solution to get up and running and to be trained very quickly. When we log into Easy Clone, you'll see those 5 tabs that are highlighted. The first tab allows us to either push data from one system to another or pull data. It depends what system you're logged into. And with the copy type, we also can select what data to include in the copy type. So what you'll see highlighted here is that we're pushing data from the current system to another system, and we've chosen to include employee master data, which means everything associated with the employee is included, info types, payroll results, and so forth. The next tab is where we select if we want a subset of employee data, or subset of employees, I should say. So in this example, we're just choosing the employees that are in a particular personnel area and a particular payroll area. And once we hit the hit list, all of those employees will be listed, and we can deselect any of those that we don't want to include. You can include your whole employee base as well. In the next tab is where we can actually choose the data to include in the copy and whether we want to scramble those sensitive personnel fields or not. You'll see that the Scramble Data button is automatically selected. You can deselect this. You can also choose to include additional fields that you may want to scramble. And on this screen, once we run the clone, this is showing us an example of the employee from the source system, Wanda Bean, and the target system where she's been cloned to. You can see that her name is actually being changed to anonymize who that person is. So it's really quite simple to use. Let's have a quick look at the business cases that EasyClone solves. What we hear from many of our clients prior to purchasing EasyClone, they've got this case that they really want to ensure that those sensitive fields are scrambled. They want to quickly be able to set up test data for pre-prod testing, configuration changes, SAP upgrades, and they want to be able to troubleshoot an employee. So if they've come across a payroll error for a particular employee, they want to quickly be able to clone that employee and try and investigate that further without doing that in production. Some of the beneficial impacts these is what we hear from many of our clients. They're happy that they're not taking data outside the system. So from an audit compliance point of view, that's a big tick. They can clone and sync both those personnel and payroll data fields. As I mentioned before, when you move to SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central, you'll have your master data residing there, and then the payroll data resides down in Employee Central Payroll, or even any of those hybrid situations. And you want to clone the entire employee. It really reduces the manual effort it takes for your IT team to be able to clone and keep the systems in sync. Sometimes this can reduce the workload by days and weeks back down to hours. So again, just to cover that off, those key business cases, it brings back the control to yourself, the business teams, the IT teams, and gives you the decision when you would like to refresh your systems. So you don't have to wait for half-yearly updates or anything like that. You can clone at any time, and many of our clients choose to set this up to clone on a regular basis, whether it's monthly or quarterly, and they'll just set that up and forget. It assists with those SAP upgrades and configuration changes. So again, before you push those into production, you can clone employees, you can use those back in your test system or your QA system to ensure that those configuration changes are exactly what you're expecting to see in your production environment. I've already mentioned a few times around the need to really anonymize those sensitive fields, and especially if you're setting up a system for a third party that is supporting you. You might have a separate system that they log into, and you really want to ensure that those name, address, date of birth, and so forth has been scrambled. And really important for the payroll team, this is a solution the payroll team love, because if they do have a payroll error, they can actually clone that employee from production back to test. They can actually clone that employee multiple times if they're trying to interrogate what the issue is. So our latest enhancements, let's have a quick look at those. We've got heaps. We've really focused on extending the EasyClone for Employee Central site. So we're really being asked by our clients to extend this further all the time. So many of these relate to Employee Central. The first one is the time account data. So we're able to now clone approved or pending leaves, and we're also able to clone absences not linked to a time account. We've got a new option to clone employees in Employee Central based on the user ID. So we do have a couple of different options available already, but we've now introduced the user ID, another request from our clients. The ability to perform a delta and time slicing. So this one's really critical because, as you can appreciate, during your journey through SAP, you start to get more and more historical data that can sometimes have a little bit of a lag on the system, so you can actually do delta clones. A better way of automatically managing your manager's records for cloning has also been introduced. An automatic cleanup of the audit log table from EasyClone. new pick lists around scrambling, so you can actually send the label. And the ability to run integration check prior to cloning. This one's really important. We're seeing a lot of benefit to our clients around doing that quick integration check to make sure that the system's going to not shoot out any errors that you might have had configuration changes occur in. And some easy cloning on the STP2 data across the system. So we've introduced or just rolled out some changes for STP2 to our other solution, Easy STP. And obviously any of those changes around those tables need to be brought back into Easy Clone for cloning purposes as well. So Randy's going to jump into the system and take you through. And what you'll see in the demo is a live overview of Easy Clone, focusing on 3 of these new enhancements. So we don't have time to show you all, but we've chosen 3 of them. So you'll see one around time account data, so approved or pending leaves. You'll see one around the delta and time slicing copy or cloning, and you'll see an automatic cleanup of the audit log table. So over to you, Randy.
Hello, this is Randy from Spinifex IT. We are continually improving our Easy Clone for Employee Central solution to improve the capability and functionality that it offers. A number of enhancements have been delivered in the recent release, and here is a look at my top 3. Number 1, time account data. The ability to copy certain information from SuccessFactors Employee Central time accounts. Number 2, delta and time slice copying. And number 3, improvements to the SuccessFactors audit log. Let's jump into Easy Clone and take a look at all 3. Let's walk through the process of kicking off a clone, going through the tabs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tab 1, we will choose the push option to copy data from the current system to another system. Tab 2, we will copy the data to this system. We will create the new employee with a new employee number, automatically generating based on the next one in the sequence. Tab 3, let's just clone 1 employee for this demonstration. Tab 4, in order to include the time account information from SuccessFactors Employee Central, we have updated the pre-delivered entity groups under SuccessFactors Employee Central data. The standard employee pre-delivered entity group has been updated to include the employee time entity. Let's open the standard employee entity group by clicking on Manage Entity Groups. From here, we will open the standard employee pre-delivered entity group to view its contents. Scrolling to the very bottom of this entity group, you will find that we have added the employee time entity. To ensure that this information is included in your copy, please ensure that the employee time entity has been included in your entity group and the copy entity checkbox has been ticked. One way to ensure this is to simply take a copy of the standard employee pre-delivered entity group and save the copy as your own. If you have already got a custom entity group that you would like to add the employee time entity into, please ensure that the filter settings match what you see here in the pre-delivered entity group, and also the batch settings match the pre-delivered entity group. Once you have set this up in this way, the employee time entity will be included in your clone. Back to the main menu. For time slice and delta copying, we have created a new tab called Data Period under tab 4. Going to the Data Period tab, you will find a few selection options here. It is the Other Period selection option where we can add a begin date and an end date. Once dates have been added here, Easy Clone will only copy records that are valid between these dates. The Other Period selection option is the one that you would choose for time slice copying. The Changes Delta option is the one that you would use for delta copying. So Easy Clone will only include records greater than a certain delta date. Let's move on to tab 5. Once you have finished executing your clone, of course, you can see if employees have successfully copied or not in this immediate log view. However, if we go to the View Audit Log to view the detail, you will find that for your clone run, we have added a new button called Consolidate Employee Central Logs. Clicking this button will present your SuccessFactors audit log in a very nice, very clean, flat file table format, where you can see for your particular audit log run number, the user ID, the person ID, the entity name, the record key, the status. You're able to very quickly filter on the status to see only those in error, if that's what you're looking for. You'll be able to find the message. You can also view the full message and the request payload. Not only can you see the SuccessFactors information for this run, you can include other runs into this screen by clicking on Refine Audit Number Selection. Here we can enter a range of audit log number runs, for example 6 to 7, and it will display all of the information from both logs. This is especially useful if you are using the job split functionality. To ensure that users can utilize this consolidated audit log functionality, it's important that you update the user role settings accordingly. Going back to the main menu, you will find that under User Maintenance, define user roles. We have created 2 additional settings: the ability to view audit logs, the ability to view advanced audit logs for Employee Central. These 2 settings must be ticked in order to view the enhanced audit logs. That's it from me. Hope you enjoy these new enhancements. Happy cloning.
So thanks for that, Randy. That was great to see those actually live. So that's a wrap for us today. To actually be able to take advantage of any of these new enhancements, you do need to upgrade. So if you haven't upgraded lately, please, I encourage you to do so. So those enhancements that you saw me talking about just before are located in our 2023 R2 release, which is available now. Or if you plan to upgrade in the next couple of months, you might want to wait for our 2024 R1 release. This is our first release for this current calendar year. And as always, if you want to learn more about the solution or you'd like to organize a demo, you've got a couple of selections there. You can jump onto our website and there's a link, or you can just reach out to me directly and I'll be able to point you in the right direction. If you'd like to keep in contact with us, there's multiple ways. So we have our own YouTube channel. You can like us on social media. You can check us out on the website and so much more. So thanks very much for joining us today. It's been great having you, and we hope you've enjoyed today's webinar.